Okay, so for number 5, it says use 2 methods to determine the solutions of f of x and g of x. There are 3 ways to show me how to find the solutions or intersections. Remember, those mean the same thing. The first way you can show me is solving algebraically, and you can use either substitution or elimination to solve. 2, you can show me a table. And 3, you can graph it. I personally like to solve first so I know exactly what the solutions are without having to guess using the table or the graph. So that's going to be my first choice. So remember, f of x and g of x is another way to say y. And if both of those are y, I can use substitution to take one of the equations and substitute it for the other y value, which really just means set the equations equal to each other. So I have 2x squared minus 5x plus 6 equal to negative 2x squared minus x plus 30. I know I have a trinomial, so I want to get everything all on the same side. So I'm going to add 2x squared on both sides. I'm also going to add x on both sides. And I'm going to subtract 30 on both sides, because what's going to happen is everything on the right side is going to cancel, and that's going to be equal to 0. So now we have 4x squared minus 4x minus 24. From here, you can do the diamond method or the big X, but I don't want my a to be 4, and I noticed that all of these coefficients are divisible by 4. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a GCF of 4 out, and that's going to leave me with x squared minus x minus 6 inside the parentheses equal to 0. To get rid of that 4, notice that it's 4 times the trinomial, so the opposite of multiplication is division. So I want to divide 4 on both sides. The 4 divided by 4 cancels, and now I just have x squared minus x minus 6 equals to 0, because 0 divided by 4 is 0. Then I can use my diamond method, which puts negative 6 on top and negative 1 on the bottom. If you're thinking about numbers that multiply to 6 and add to negative 1, that's going to be negative 3 and 2. I don't have to divide by a since a is 1, so my factors are going to be x minus 3 and x plus 2 equals to 0. Using the zero product property, I can set each factor equal to 0. And that's going to give me x equals to positive 3 and x equals to negative 2. Once I find my x values, I'm going to want to plug in my x values into those equations. So I'm going to choose f of x since a is positive. So if I do f of positive 3 equals to 2 times 3 squared minus 5 times 3 plus 6. That's going to be 3 squared is 9. Negative 5 times 3 is negative 15 plus 6. 2 times 9 is 18. Negative 15 plus 6 is negative 9. And then 18 minus 9 is 9. So if I plug in 3 into f of x, my answer is 9. So therefore, one of my solutions is 3, 9. Then you do the same thing for negative 2. You're going to do f of negative 2 is equal to 2 times negative 2 squared minus 5 times negative 2 plus 6. Negative 2 squared is a positive 4. Negative 5 times negative 2 is a positive 10. And then I have a plus 6. 2 times 4 is 8. and 10 plus 6 is 16. And then lastly, 16 plus 8 is 24. So when I plug in a negative 2 into my f of x, my answer is 24. Therefore, my other solution, or intersection, is negative 2, comma, 24. Now that I know what my solutions are, it's easier to do a table or a graph because you know where the intersections are. So what I'm going to do now is show you the table. And so if you want to do a table, or actually two tables, you have to label one of them x for your inputs and then f of x for your outputs. And then your other table has to be labeled something different for the other equation. So inputs are still x, and your other equation is g of x. Since I know my answer, the x values are negative 2 and 3, I probably could start at negative 2 and then go down to negative 1, 0, 1, 2, 3 to include all the answers. Negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so what I did here is I took a picture of my calculator with the two functions on it. So where it says right here, this is the 2x squared minus 5x plus 6. This is representing f of x. And then your g of x, negative 2x squared minus x plus 30. And if you press second graph or second table, you get the answers, and you literally just copy them into your tables. So for f of x, which is the blue column, negative 2, the answer is 24. Negative 1, the answer is 13. 0, the answer is 6. 1, the answer is 3. 2, the answer is 4. And 3, the answer is 9. For g of x, the answer for negative 2 is 24. Negative 1 is 27. 2 is 20. Oops, sorry, 0 is 30. Oops, I got confused. Negative 1 is actually 29. So let me erase that. Negative 1 is 29, 0 is 30, 1 is 27, 2 is 20, and then 3 is 9. So if you're going to use the table, you have to make sure you circle your answers. Drawing two tables or writing two tables is not going to be enough. You have to circle the two intersections to show me that these are the solutions. Okay, so that's method number 2. Okay, and the last method is to graph. So I am going to use my picture of my points here to graph. You guys are going to be able to, you guys are going to get coordinate planes if you want to graph. I'll give that to you so you don't have to draw your own. I'm going to try and draw my own, so I apologize if my graphing is not to scale. Here's my x and y axis. So my first intersection is negative 224. I'm just going to estimate. This is negative 2. These are going by 5s, 10, 15, 20, 25. So negative 224 is going to be about right here. And then negative 113 is going to be about right here. And then 0, 6 is going to be right here. And then 1, 3 is going to be right here. 2, 4 is going to be right there. And 3, 9 is going to be about here. So here is one really terrible graph. Sorry. And that one is f of x. And then g of x is going to be negative 224. So this one. Negative 129. So it's going to be a little bit past that. 0, 30. 127. 220. And 3, 9. So I'm going to have an upside down parabola that looks like that, kind of. That looks really bad. Sorry. Alright, and then for the intersections, you just have to make sure you show me them. So either you highlight, point at it, say, hey, these are my intersections. This is 3, 9, and this is -2, 24. And that's the third step.